So with collecting watches, there's typically regrets that happen along the way, either with buying or selling. For me, with buying, plenty of those. When it comes to selling, I really don't have that many regrets with selling watches, because at the point of selling a watch for me, I'm pretty just sound with my thoughts on whether or not I should part with it or not. But the only one that I could really think of, or one of maybe a couple that I can think of, a watch that I parted with, was my Sinn 104. I did give it to my cousin, or parted ways with it to my cousin who's a pilot, and that does really help kind of minimize my desire or regret that came along with that. But I definitely wanted to add a Sinn to the collection for quite some time, and recently I finally actually did it, adding the Sinn 556 to the collection. The Sinn 556 to me, I thought was just a perfect tool watch for around the price range that it was occupying, say around $1,000 to $1,500. And there's a lot of things I love about this watch. I've been wearing it for the majority of the time over the past month. It's been probably the watch I've reached for the most in that time period since I bought it. But I just wanted to kind of unpack and give 1 month of ownership type of review, the things I absolutely love about this watch, some things that maybe aren't as great about this watch, and why I ultimately decided to buy it. But guys, let's take a closer look at the watch. Now, those that are familiar with the channel and have been following it for some time, probably aware that last year I did a review of the Sinn 556i and the IB, two variants of the Sinn 556 family, basically called it the best watch for $1,000. And there's since been a price increase on these watches, so you really can't probably have that same claim, but these are still fantastic watches. The one that I decided to go with was the 556i. So it's probably one of the 3 most popular variants that you could go for in the 556 family. This version comes with that inky black dial, standard printed indices, and a date window. You also have the Sinn 556A, which stands for Arabic, which will really refer to those numerals. But in addition to that, that watch also features a more matte style finish of its dial surface. And then finally, you have the Sinn 556IB, which is probably the 3rd most popular variant of the Sinn 556 family, coming with a blue dial, applied indices, and no date, which is very cool, but I'm just not as much of a fan of the actual dial finish on that watch in comparison to these other two, especially the Sinn 556i. And there are other variants that are available in the range. You have like a mother of pearl version, some other limited editions that they've rolled out. And I think all these versions of the Sinn 556i, plus the different limited edition options that they have, like the mother of pearl, not really my cup of tea, but some other variants out there, are all very solid watches for the money. But the Sinn 556i for me is the most simple. It's kind of that flagship model of the 556 family, and to me is just ultimately my favorite when you factor in the indices, the simplicity, the legibility, but also just that glossy dial surface. Really just love that. And guys, before we get too far into this video, I did just recently complete a tool watch blog looking at dozens of different tool watches spanning a variety of different price ranges. And while you go over there, teddybaldassarre.com, full authorized dealer of a variety of different brands. I have 20 brands I'm an authorized dealer for, adding about 4 more this month, and then also have a wide variety of different straps available as well, with many of them being made in the USA. And in addition, please use first order at checkout. If you're a first-time customer, you can get a discount off your first purchase. Now, I don't want to get too far into the weeds here, but for those that are not familiar with Sinn watches, they're a relatively young company in the world of watchmaking. However, they are now one of probably the leading independent brands in the world in terms of output and really just reputation amongst enthusiasts. The German watch manufacturer was founded back in 1961 by a German flight instructor, Helmut Sinn. The brand over the years has really just maintained a deserved and favorable reputation amongst watch enthusiasts, pilots, and just different adventurers for their just well-constructed watches built with high durability, have high contrast, and high-tech case treatments and internal testing standards, which takes place in certainly some of their entry-level watches, but really especially in their more higher-end watches. All this has really just led to the brand creating a cult-like following just from these no-nonsense tool watches that I'm personally a big fan of. But looking at this Sinn 556 from a high level here, first looking at case size, 38.5 millimeters, thickness 11 millimeters, lug width of 20 millimeters, lug to lug of 45.5 millimeters, water resistance of 200 meters. The crown here is screw down. Movement is an automatic Sellita SW200. This is a top grade variant here though. Crystal sapphire with double AR coating. Also have a sapphire crystal on the backside. And as mentioned, The price on these did just recently go up at $1,270 for it on a strap, and then $1,510 for it on this H-link bracelet. Now, when deciding to pick one of these watches up, there were several reasons for my purchase, but one of the leading traits was certainly in the area of wearability. With this watch coming in with a 38.5mm case and a lug-to-lug of 45.5mm, really solid thickness as well, this was just a great wear for me. It had presence on a smaller wrist, but it doesn't overstep, as to me, a 38 to say 39mm range for a watch without a rotating bezel is just a fantastic size, especially for a watch with this field and pilot style. This watch's universal wear is certainly a reason why this is probably one of the best selling Sinn watches out there, as I really think it can wear very well on a small wrist like myself, as well as going up to a larger wrist, as well as working in many different scenarios and never really being out of place. This case comes in a fully satinized finish, which tends to feel right with a watch of this type of tool aesthetic, featuring small crown guards protecting the large crown set at the 3. The crown does extend out quite a bit from the case, but it has never really pressed into my wrist when bending at the wrist. It makes it really easy to engage when unthreading the screw down crown, and it's just really sturdy in its construction. Between the drilled lugs, we have a 20mm lug width, which is gonna make swapping straps an absolute must with this one. I mentioned the concept of versatility with this piece, and that really can't be overstated here with this aspect. This watch just looks good in nearly any strap that you throw its way, whether it's a nylon or a NATO, a traditional calfskin leather, or a dressy alligator. The 556, especially this 556i variant, offers a variety of different looks and doesn't really compromise in any of the areas. It always is excelling. And despite many resisting the idea of only having one watch, I think this piece could certainly do the trick without really ever having to compromise. Say you need to dress this piece up, put it on a well-fitting leather strap. Going for a hike or say going in the water, put it on a NATO or a 2-piece nylon or a rubber strap and really take that 200 meters of water resistance to the test. Or maybe you just want to wear this thing casually, just wear it on its bracelet. Bracelet's very good, or just say a simple contrast leather strap. But speaking of the bracelet, this H-link style is certainly one of the best in its class. It meets at the case seamlessly, matching its satinized finish, has great articulation with the links, offering great comfort in its wear, and it's very easy to size with its hex screw links. And once you really get the hang of it, I actually really like this format for changing out the size here. The bracelet meets at the underside at a fold over clasp. It's probably the only part of the bracelet that is not exceptional. It is a bit bulky, probably as a result of offering a peculiar inclusion of a diver's extension, and is a bit difficult to get your fingers under the fold over clasp to unlock. As to get leverage to unlock this fold over clasp, you really need to press it into the bracelet, which is gonna lead to unnecessary wear. Overall though, I think this H-link bracelet is a must to own if you do get this watch. I think it does pair a little bit better than the fine link, as it just provides more of a tool watch approach, which I think is certainly what this watch is leaning for. Another area where I think this watch exceeds, and it kind of just feeds in from the case, moving into the dial. I think all of the elements here from a design perspective work very well and with great cohesion. So when discussing the different 556 models at the beginning of the video, I made a point where this one is my favorite, and that ultimately comes down to two aspects. One, I prefer the simplicity of the stick markers compared to the Arabic numerals, but the leading reason for my love of the 556i is really just the other variants and their lack of having this glossy dial surface, which I certainly mentioned. Sure, the matte style might be more in line with what one might expect from a tool watch, but for me, I feel the inky black of this piece just better contrasts with the satinized case, making all the dial elements pop out a bit more, especially when factoring in the superb contrast that's taking place with the white markers on the dial and the handwritten typography style of the brand's logo at the 12. The dial overall is relatively simple, with the added complexity really coming from a small date aperture at the 3. The outside markers coming in an eye-catching white makes legibility a breeze, and features shortened sword style hands that are a bit stubby, but I love just the central point of them as they come in black, making it appear as if the white hands are just floating across the dial and assisting in discerning what hand is calling attention to what. The lume on this piece is, I think, it's okay. It serves its purpose, but it's not gonna be phenomenal compared to other watches out there in this price range, but it is more than serviceable for my needs. However, one aspect of the 556i that helps really elevate this dial is actually not an aspect of it, but it's the crystal with its use of coating. So the 556 comes with a flat sapphire crystal featuring anti-reflective coating on both the bottom, which is pretty standard for watches featuring AR coating, but also features an additional layer on the top. So this is gonna help tremendously with the legibility of this piece, and at a certain angle, this watch honestly looks like it has no crystal on it, almost as if you can go bypass everything and just grab the hands directly. It's actually just quite wild how well this thing just counteracts glare. That said, there are 2 points to consider here on the the downside of this. One is the crystal is going to smudge up quite a bit when oils of your skin come into contact with it. And then two, because there's a layer of anti-reflective coating on the outside, there are instances where this will create small abrasive scratches that can appear on the crystal as a result. With my naked eye and pretty consistent wear over a month, I can't notice any signs of wear on the crystal when I'm just looking down at it, but that might not be the case when looking at it underneath the macro lens, as it typically shows even the most minor of imperfections. That said, to me, I still prefer this boost in looks that comes in this department with the double AR coating, but this is more of a personal preference here, and based on some discussions in the forums of people that maybe don't like this, I've seen a lot of people talk about them actually removing it, so it can be done if it is something that's going to be a bother to you. Flipping this piece over, we have an open case back with a sapphire crystal, providing view of a top grade or chronometer equivalent SW200. So in recent years, Sinn has shifted away from ETA movements to using Solita movements, which seems to be a move by many bigger independent brands in the industry. Oris being another great example of this, as it really is no secret that ETA has been difficult to work with, and with the brand of Sinn's production numbers and not being able to be supplied enough movements or to be able to be shut off at any time, that can be really catastrophic for a company. This considered though, every movement inside of Sinn is never featuring a traditional grade. It is always highly regulated, gets an up finish, gets some upped anti-magnetic spec, and runs incredibly well. When having my Sinn 104, which featured an SW220, that movement always ran incredibly well for me, and there's just more of the same that's taking place here. First, this SW200 features a custom golden colored rotor. It's signed with the Sinn logo, features blued screws, and has a fine grained finish across the bridges. The movement is still rather utilitarian, but like what we have seen from the rest of the piece so far, given what the purpose that it tries to serve, I think it offers a great look as an end result. This movement operates at 4 Hz, 28,800 vibrations per hour, features hacking and hand winding. Hacking, stopping that second hand when you pull out the crown to the farthest position so you can set precise time. Power reserve, 38 hours. And this particular version that I have here is running at just plus 1 second a day. And usually that's something that kind of can be expected from a lot of Sinn's movements. I'm not gonna say all of them are gonna be running this great, but most of them are running in the single digits. They are highly regulated movements, so typically you are gonna get some great performance out of these out of the box. Okay, so now that we've looked at kind of the general rundown of this piece, wanted to kind of look at, given that I've had this watch for about a month now, I've reviewed it in the past, wanted to kind of give a rundown of the things I don't like and the things that I like. Now, first starting with some of the things I don't like, I think one of the areas of just kind of attention always is the clasp on this piece. It's a little bit clunky. I think it's the one area of the bracelet that is a little bit lagging behind. It just seems like it doesn't actually fit with the piece. It's a little bit more of a scratch magnet. I think the diver extension is a little bit weird and I think adds to its heft and bulk. It's a little bit difficult to work with from the locking point of view. And the only reason why I think you can be critical with this bracelet is because you are paying a premium for it. You're paying a few $100s for this bracelet. I think otherwise it's great. I think it's worth the money, don't get me wrong, but I think the clasp certainly could be improved. The other area that I'm not the biggest fan of is the fact that there is no date option for this watch. I don't mind the date being featured on this piece, but to me, I do think it would just look so good in terms of the symmetry that would be provided with a no date variant. I think some people might have some resistance to that double AR coating. I personally love it. I just like the way that it looks, so I'm not gonna really mention that as a side point, but I think the most important point here in terms of this watch is I used to say that this was the best watch for $1,000 because it was a $1,000 watch. When I was first getting into watches, you could commonly get these for just around $1,000. Now it's a $1,300 to $1,500 watch, even on a strap now. And that's, I think, really a different type of proposition compared to what this watch was being featured as in the past. I'm not saying that it's priced itself out and is not an incredible watch still for the money. I think it still is, but it's in a different price range. It's definitely starting to get up there more in price and probably isn't competing so much on being maybe the best value in watchmaking at this price range, which that's a big feat and accolade to obtain. So I don't think you can hold too much against it, but it's just competing in a different realm now. It's still a great watch, but now when you're looking at $1,000, I think you can look at a brand like Damasco, who's doing a fantastic job with their DS30. You're getting that up tech as well, very similar looks. But ultimately, I think the Sinn is, a little more endearing to me, and I just like the looks of it more. I like the bracelet a bit more. And I think Sinn as a brand for me, I think has a little bit more of a track record in this arena, but Damasco certainly making a ton of progress here, and I think it's a great brand to look at for around $1,000. But let's not get it twisted. There's a lot of things that I love about this watch and ultimately why I decided to get one. Now first, I think just the wearability aspect of it and just the sizing is fantastic. 38.5 millimeters is just a great size universally for a watch without a rotating bezel. Yes, it might not be the best choice for somebody with the largest of large wrists, but say, 7.5 and under in terms of wrist size, I don't really see anybody that couldn't pull this thing off and feel comfortable with it on the wrist. It certainly has some presence again, but it's not definitely overbearing for anybody out there, and I think anybody could really feel very comfortable with this if they just have the right kind of intention with trying to get this watch. So I think that was a huge plus for this thing. Another point is just durability, reliability. This watch, it can take a beating. You don't have to baby this thing around. 200 meters of water resistance, screw down crown. It's a tool watch at the end of the day. And you're also getting sapphire crystal. Yes, you're getting that anti-reflective coating on the front, but this thing, you don't really have to worry about too much when wearing it. You can wear it in a variety of different scenarios. 200 meters of water resistance is kind of absurd for a watch of this. It's just more than enough, but I absolutely love that. And I think that really is kind of Sinn's ethos, just doing more when maybe it's not required. And that also could be said about their movements, which, yes, they are pretty standard third-party movements, but they're using top-grade versions of these movements and also regulating them where they're honestly performing inside of cost parameters. Another thing that I really liked about this watch and why I wanted to get one was Sinn as a brand overall. It's a brand that I think gets a ton of respect and it deserves it completely. They're producing some fantastic pieces for the money. But the other thing that is great about it is it's not so much in your face. When looking at a brand like Rolex, the Rolex Explorer, there's a lot of similarities for that piece and this piece, the Aqua Terra, for example, or even the Tudor Black Bay. 36 is a great alternative to this, but all of those have some just kind of status element associated with those brands that to me is not something I always want to have. I would like to have a brand and a watch that I could wear that I don't have to necessarily worry about it to the same degree. I can wear it very casually, not worry about banging it up. I don't mind banging this watch up. It's fine. That's what it's meant to do. I think every watch is meant for that, but even more to a degree with this watch. And that was ultimately why I was drawn to it. And then there's not that flash element. Sometimes I don't want to have a watch that, is so look at me. And that's partially why I like the Rolex Explorer 2 and select Rolex models and Omega models that really aren't filling that type of void. That's not my personality. That's not what I really go for in a watch. And the Sinn 556, I think this is a nice upside for me in looking at this piece. It provides something in that arena. And then finally, I just love the looks of this piece. Factoring all the things together, you talk about that satinized case, you talk about that inky black dial, and just the crazy legibility with contrast on the actual dial itself. There's a lot to like. And then also factoring in all the versatility with different straps and bracelets and things that you could just put on this watch to just basically take on every scenario. And again, I'm not a one watch guy, but there could probably be an alternative universe where this would be my only one watch that I would wear all the time. I think it provides so much in these different areas and it's just a very solid watch for the money. Can't say it's the best watch for $1,000 anymore, but it's still a very damn good watch. All right guys, well this is the end for this video. That is my review of the Sinn 556i. If you enjoyed it, thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. We really appreciate that. Also, leave a comment down below about what would be, if in a world where you could just be a one watch collection, what watch would you choose from an affordable perspective? Let's say more under $1,000 or so, and then you could say like a middle range perspective, kind of like that 1,000 to 3,000, and then 3,000 and up. We'll say like kind of more luxury oriented for one watch that you could choose. Love to see comments down below. Also guys, definitely check out that Tool Watch blog. I'll have a link in the description. Definitely go check out the different selection of watches and watch straps. Full authorized dealer. You can get 5% off your first purchase as well. Would love to have you as a customer. Try to pride myself on good customer service. You can book a call with me directly. And then in addition to that, all the funds from sales on the website just goes right back into the content. So just helps us keep going and keep making things better here. And finally, follow me on Instagram. I like to take cool photos of watches. At least I think they're pretty cool. So if you want to stay up to date also with the content, it's a great place to go and stay up to date. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.